People are the same wherever you are. If you stay near or if you go far, they all need the same things as you and I, even if they don't always see eye to eye. All people are people, they're people like us. All people are people, they're people like us. All people are people, they're people like us. I like it and meet some, you'll find it a plus.
You are told that this is not a problem, but you're sure there's something wrong. You are told that this cannot be fixed, but you know that you can help. You are told that this is too big for you, but you've seen the tiniest things make a huge difference. You're told that this won't work, but how will you know if you don't try? You're told to sit and wait, but you know people have already waited too long. You're told that what's going on is very, very sad, but you're not just sad. You're scared and confused. You're angry. And maybe, just maybe, a little hopeful. You're told not to hope, but you keep hoping anyway. Sometimes you feel like you're all alone, but someday, somewhere, you find a friend. Someone who will hope with you, who believes in your dream, someone who will fight with you. You make a promise to each other. You say there is a problem, but it's our problem together, so we can fix it together. This problem is big, but together we are bigger. You make another friend and tell them it's okay to be sad. And they tell you, sometimes we'll lose, but that's all right, we'll try again. And so you do. Together, working, together, beginning, over and over and over and over. Until you're no longer beginning, you're winning. Suddenly there's something you're sure is right, something you know you helped fix, something small that changed, something big, something that worked, something that makes you feel hopeful, happy, and loved. Something that is not a dream, but the day you live in. Something that makes you smile as you tell someone else. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the last All Societies platform of 2024. First of all, I'd like to thank the All Societies platform for planning today's event, Gathering Light in Our Times. I appreciate the time and effort this team has put into planning and producing All Societies platforms this year. It is a reminder that in ethical culture, we nurture respect for diversity of points of view, and this platform and the platforms we've had this year are no different. Just want to remind you that the comments expressed today by participants are those of the presenter and not the AEU. The poem I just read, Someday, Somewhere by Amanda Gorman, is a reminder that as hard as the times ahead of us may be, and as much work as there is for us to do, we will find those who will hold us up and who will work with us to make small changes into big ones. I hope you have found time this season to gather with family and friends, to rest and restore yourself, and to do something that makes you feel hopeful, happy, and loved.
Anger, sadness, relationships, hope, and working together. Thank you, President Condra, and to Ruby and Dror for that lovely opening song. And thanks to all of you for creating this event so that we can all learn together and inspire each other. Today, we're going to explore the power and the challenges that come to us in forms of darkness and light. I grew up heavily influenced by the model which portrayed darkness as bad and light as all good. But I'm learning that both the light and the dark can serve us. They both play important roles in our lives. I want to thank many people across the movement, from professional artists and ethical culture members and leaders who donated their time and talent to create this event. We're going to learn how to play with metaphors and challenge assumptions and explore new ways to think. And thanks for the grace shown by those of you who did offer contributions that were not included today. Our cup runneth over. We just couldn't include them all. To start this creative collective exploration, I'm going to share that light and dark has long been powerful themes in philosophy and religion. From Plato's cave, where the light of a fire created a false reality, to Islam describing Allah as the light of the heavens and the earth, to the inner light of Quakerism, and to candles that fill churches or brighten menorahs. And the relatively new Kwanzaa tradition, where 7 candles remind us about 7 principles that have guided and continue to guide us to healthier relationships between people of all shades. So thanks to Dupre, Barry, Atiba, and Kyoto for our first musical offering, something they'll also offer at Brooklyn's Kwanzaa celebration, an event that they've hosted for the past 8 years. So I invite you to engage with this piece of music as fits your mood and your personality. You can stand up and sway to the sounds or do an arm dance in your chair, or use this time to write down your own thoughts about light and dark that you can share in upcoming breakout rooms. And now, some music.
Unity that brings us together. Umoja, unity that brings us together. Umoja, unity that brings us together. Jichakulia. Jichakulia. Chakulia. We will determine who we are. We will determine who we are. We will determine who we are. Ujima, working and building our union. Ujima, working and building our union. Ujima, working and building our union. Ujama, we'll spend our money wisely. Ujama, we'll spend our money wisely. Ujama, we'll spend our money wisely. Nia, we know the purpose of our lives. Nia, we know the purpose of our lives. Nia, we know the purpose of our lives. Kumba, oh, all that we touch is more beautiful. Kumba, all that we touch is more beautiful. Kumba, all that we touch is more beautiful. Imani, we believe that we can. We know that we can. We will. anyway that we can.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we turn to our first group of presenters, reflecting on the joy and struggle of darkness and light. These varied reflections touch on how our personal relationships help us resist war, support activism, and manage health challenges and even survive floods. Those sharing will be Lynn Gilbert from Austin, Betsy Lightborn of Philadelphia, Andy Greed of Asheville, Jaira Cooper of Brooklyn, and Austin's Carolyn Parker will end this section of portion of sharing with Felix Adler's metaphor of ethics as a beacon that helps us navigate the churning waters of life. So if we can spotlight Lynn, after we spotlight her and she unmutes, we'll let her take it away for this first series of presentations. Lynn?
Thanks, Hugh. I'm Lynn Gilbert from the Austin Society. The first stanza of my poem is lightly adapted from a carol by the English poet Christina Rossetti, and her version was set to music by Gustav Holst. The remainder of the words are mine and are intended for a solstice celebration. I was asked some years ago in the Austin Society to get up something reflecting the themes of light and peace. Solstice song. In this bleak midwinter, frosty winds make moan. Earth stands hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow has fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the midst of winter, not a lamp aglow. Weapons all around us clash in ceaseless war. Dark and doubt confound us, we can see no star. How we long for peace and light, a torch to light a pathway through this longest night. If we can acknowledge every person's worth, then every face looks human, every face on earth. How can we kill those we know?
Recording in progress.
Those we know. Others' faces our face, others wound our woe. Cold contempt must vanish from the human mind, and humankind be our clan, all of humankind. Days begin to lengthen now from this dark day on. Let our purpose strengthen in the light of dawn. Thank you.
An Awakening by Betsy Lightborn. After an 8-hour surgery years ago that removed one organ, sampled lymph nodes, and left a 12-inch incision on my abdomen, I felt like raw meat. For 6 nights, I lay restless in the dark, experiencing both pain and constant vibrations, unable to sleep well. On the 7th night, I had a dream where I experienced rejuvenation, an awakening, where I was aware of my body being lightly caressed, layer upon layer as my body slowly awakened, freeing itself from numbness and pain. I dreamed of taking tentative, pain-free steps toward a dozen people assembled to hear me speak and share my insights. Upon awakening, I continued to feel healed and relatively free of both pain and incessant vibrations. I asked my surgeon, who was in the hall preparing for early morning surgery, about recreational opportunities. He laughed and said that I could go up to the roof deck. Several days later, I and Dale, my life partner, co-conspirator, along with several friends, enjoyed dining on the hospital's roof deck in the lingering light. Chinese food never tasted so good.
Good morning. I'm Andy Reid here in Asheville, North Carolina. Years ago, when I was in the middle of my life, I went into a dark space. And later I got the opportunity to relearn the values I had been brought up with. Doing that going back to basics, brought me out of that personal darkness into the light. Now, I'm an admirer of the medieval sage Hillel, who told his rabbinical students that the entire Torah could be summed up this way: that which is hateful to you, do not do it to other people. The founding rabbi of ethical culture, Felix Adler, put it this way: evoke the best from others and thereby from yourself. Well, a few months ago, as I'm sure you know, Asheville was at the epicenter of Hurricane Helene. And this time I watched this whole community, my neighbors, everyone throughout the city and county and the whole region. I saw everyone pitching in to help each other. They were evoking the best from themselves by helping others evoke their best. They made sure that the weak, the elderly, the poor, both long-term and newly homeless people, everyone got what they needed: food, shelter, clothing, showers, even water from our swimming pool to flush their toilets. Whatever they needed to survive and start rebuilding their lives. And I got to be part of that giving and found I was evoking the best from myself. What that showed me pretty conclusively was that light is in all of us if we delve deep inside and if we are willing to live by it. Thank you.
Society. Light equals awareness and truth. Holidays of light converge this year. Sunlight gives warmth, moonlight gives one time to sleep and move and revive. Candlelight honors the gods if one believes in them and allows for meditation. Light peels back the masks we wear. It opens the soul to experience life as a wonder. It sweeps away who others think we are and allows us to be who we really are. Light is an awakening force. Think about the number of times we've heard, "I see the light." Your light makes you weightless. It lifts you and lets you take your rightful place. Your light frees you to be all you are and at peace with yourself and the world, even during dark times. Dance in the moonlight, run in the sun. Take the light in you and spread it out to all you meet. In light, sorrow doesn't exist. Light is joy. It shines in your eyes and smile. Being awake is light. It helps you understand life even while chaos swirls. As the song says, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." Be the light you want to see. Remember, you are the light. Let your light shine. It is not small, and your light is awesome.
Good morning. My name is Carolyn Parker. I'm with the Ethical Society of Austin, and I'm reading from Felix Adler, a platform that he gave in 1896. There are occasions when the benignity of light comes home to us with peculiarly satisfying completeness. One such occasion is especially present in my mind at this moment. We've been traveling the sea. We're about to emerge from the waste of waters. We approach the land, but the moment is an anxious one, for the night is dark and the coast is girt with dangerous reefs and rocks. Suddenly, as we peer into the darkness, a beacon light flashes ahead. It shows but for a moment and disappears. It waxes and then it wanes. And then as we get nearer, it grows and grows until it seems to fill the eye. And through the eye, the soul with its flood of splendor. Ah, how we realize at such a moment the benignity of the light. How grateful we are for the friendliness of people. At great cost, and often at risk of life, have these watchtowers been placed on the fringes of continents to warn us of the dangers which we must avoid, and to indicate the port of safety to which we must steer. So too, in the moral world, watchtowers have been erected to warn us of the dangers to be avoided and to indicate the port of safety to which we must steer. From of old, religions of the past have been busy raising these towers, but many of them are crumbling into decay. And new rocks, new reefs, new points of danger have been discovered, of which the religions of the past have never given us a warning, and which are now becoming the scene and the cause of frequent disaster. It is the purpose of the ethical movement to help to repair these crumbling towers and to place beacons on those dangerous rocks which have heretofore escaped notice. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful wisdom for us all that I hope you will use in the next 6-minute breakout room. We're going to invite you to go into small groups, and please share the time amongst each other so everyone gets to participate. You'll get a 60-second warning when it's time to begin wrapping up. And if you want a prompt, you can address these 2 questions. What gifts have darkness and light brought to your life? How has darkness nourished you towards a moment of light? So please accept this invitation into a breakout room, and we'll see you all back here in about 6 minutes. My name is Utah Morales, and once we get the screen back, there you go. Our next musical offering comes from Josh Blinder of the Washington Ethical Society. Josh is a friend of mine, and he wrote this song exclusively for this program, and it echoes the major themes that we're hitting on today. The lyrics will be pasted into the chat should you want to read them, along with Josh as he sings it. It offers an intriguing vision of the light and dark dynamic.
Come on. If in the night with darkness all around, I find myself unsettled and searching for the ground, with fears and cares of hours gone by that come up suddenly, it's then I'll sometimes think upon what Mother said to me. The darkness will not harm you, and you may find ere long that it will take you in its arms and sing to you a song to give you comfort, a tune to give you ease, with words sung in the language of the barest blowing breeze. Though the dark seems cold when on the road you tread, it is a space for you to place your thoughts on what's ahead. I cannot promise you, my child, that you'll avoid all strife, but light and dark are each a part.
I'm not getting any sound.
If in the night when I lay down to sleep and drift upon I've heard so long ago. And dark and light will take their turns as on my road I go.
Thank you very much, Josh, for recording that for us today. I just love the sound of that. Auto harp is what the name of that instrument is. If you weren't able to hear it for some reason, or if the audio was off, you can email me at hughTM@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send you that so you can read it along with the lyrics. So the last 2 Sundays at the Ethical Societies in Philadelphia and Baltimore, I spoke about different ways to relate to this time of year, to the solstice, to the dark of winter. And in the past, I focused on a single dominant metaphor that painted darkness as the enemy and the hero being light. I'm going to ask Christian and Louise Jett to join me very soon for this discussion, but I'm going to begin by sharing that this metaphor can dominate and distract from other truths. Light is portrayed as the source of all goodness. Darkness is portrayed as only negative, where cold sinks into our bones and loneliness grows or dangerous animals lurk. And this negativity shifts into our language, often without us being aware of it. We rightly praise the accumulation of knowledge, but why do we call knowing good and not knowing being in the dark? Why is the magic causing harm in Harry Potter's series, The Dark Arts, called the dark arts? Why is blackness associated with so many bad things like a black sheep, black mark, black male, black list, black hearted, black mood, black plague, black cat? And this negativity seeps into our history. The so-called Dark Ages, running from about 500 through 1500 Common Era, has long been characterized as traditional Western scholars calling it a time of sterility or decline. But we know that during that millennium, incredible advancements were made in literature and math and science, particularly by Muslim scholars. It was even called the Golden Age of Islam. And even that label falls back into a metaphor that declares that all that glimmers is good. AEU certified leader Christian Hayden, member of the Philly Society, and certified AEU leader Louise Jett, who is creative director at the St. Louis Society, and who I serve in ethical culture as well. We appreciate this AEU opportunity to explore more deeply this dominant paradigm and the alternatives that are pregnant with potential growth. So Christian, what does this topic bring to your mind?
Well, thanks, Hugh. The Dark Continent was a phrase I thought of during my trip to Ghana. Those words were used to describe Africa as a continent for centuries, a linguistic technique to justify the plundering of its resources and people. Dark was a stand-in for danger, lack of civility, and nothingness. But in that darkness, I found kindness, cosmopolitanism, and a deep reordering of who I am and who I could be. I saw not the absence of humanity, but the resilience of a sense of what it means to be human. Where there was less lights were some of the clearest nights I've ever experienced. In the dark continent, I found leafy soups, vibrant music, and dozens of ways to say thank you. So I am darker now because my tongue wants to follow my heart and my heart wants to hold you. I'm darker now because my food is your food. I am darker now because my skin knows what it means to not experience winter. There was still a solstice, shorter days, and the loneliness of otherness that touched me, but the darkness held me too.
And I remember being held by darkness. As a child, I would bury my face in my mother's hair, my eyes closed tight. Usually there were tears involved. And her hair is dark and soft, and it always smells like a field of flowers. And there's a depth in the experience of my mother's love. I wrote a poem about burying my face in her hair because it's so comforting to me. I won't share it. It's not good. But even though I have buried my face in my mom's hair a million times, it stands as a single memory in my mind. The dark, soft, welcoming place I find in her hair, in her love, it still serves me as a respite from a cruel world. I sought protection in this darkness, in this womb-like space of warmth and care. I was soothed by her dark curls and accepting hugs. And when I was in her arms, burrowing in the safety of her, the darkness was redefined as protective rather than threatening. In a way, the comfort I found there endures as a symbol of love and beauty, an escape from the transient nature of life, a timeless sanctuary. This dark place is one of hope and resilience. It reminds me of the comfort we can find by immersing ourselves in the love and beauty of others, in this sensory richness of meaningful relationships. As if in defiance of the erosion of time, this place, this comfort, is a reassuring contrast to the fears of loss and change. It is beauty as a resistance to the fleeting moments in which we build our lives. It endures when everything else changes. It is an eternal source of comfort and stability, a dark place that will continue to exist after we are long gone.
Hugh, you're still muted.
Thank you so much, Christian and Louise. That image of your mom's hair just reminds me how much darkness can be both necessary and useful for ourselves and for nature. I mean, night gives us permission to sleep and replenish ourselves, and sunshine that's less plentiful this time of year is necessary to be darker because nature uses the darkness and cold to reset and prepare for the spring. And it helps delineate the cycle of the seasons, which is necessary. Light can also bring harm. I mean, it can blind us. We can get sunburned. And light is sometimes even used for torture, I'm afraid to say. I mean, prisoners have described anguish of having lights left on in their cell 24 hours a day. Louise and Christian, is there one last thought you'd like to share before we return to the rest of the program?
There is the photographer in me that wants to channel the idea of the negative, right? And understanding, it took me years to understand, but what happens is the negative is just a canvas that allows you to then elicit an image once the crystals are exposed to light. And so the darkness is the important part for creation. It's an invitation to imagine.
Yes, and I like to think of darkness as infinite possibility, openness, a canvas, and also a moment we can retreat in when we need to, and an invitation to rest when we need it.
Thank you so much. So we're going to go to another 6-minute breakout room where you can share with other members from around the country your reactions to this. And perhaps you can share something about how you draw joy from light and dark, maybe a recent incident that you did that.
It's funny because I am literally allergic to the sun. So
no.
when I go out in the sun, I get blisters and hives. I cannot be in the sun for very long at all. So when I swim, I have to have shade. I will wear like a sheet over myself. I will put umbrellas over the pool because I am really allergic to the sun. So I kind of prefer the darkness. Light, but I do love the sun. I think it's beautiful. I love a sunny day. I just cannot be in it.
There's a young man at the Philadelphia Society who runs a children's program of music, and he is allergic to light as well. And his symptom is that he sneezes if he gets too much light. It's activated through his pupils. Very, very curious. Anybody else want to share darkness as a resource in your life? Because I hear what Dror is saying.
Well, I have heard that to sleep, you really need to be in a very dark room. And so I have darkening shades in my bedroom, and I like to keep it very, very dark. And even if I get up in the middle of the night, I don't turn on a light because I don't want to wake up. I want to be able to go right back to sleep. So I like darkness for that. And I've never been afraid of the dark.
That's a great point, Joe. And so much of our rooms now are filled with little green or red lights from our various devices that actually share a lot more light than might be good. Louise, why don't you give folks a 1-minute warning? And we'll come back in a minute for the closing of our main program.
Some of you might have seen or heard my platform about when I was a little girl and I became friends with our elderly neighbor, and he used to play music at night. He was a musician. He played multiple instruments, and he knew when my bedtime was, and he would play music, and our houses were so close I could hear it. So I really looked forward to the nighttime to listen to Sonny. That was his name. My mom forbid me from being his friend, but I became his friend anyway. So even as a child, I really looked forward to the nighttime so that I could hear Sonny's music.
Folks are beginning to come back. We have another 30 seconds before the rest of the program will continue. Any other thoughts on lightness or dark, moments that gave you joy from either of those sources?
Led to believe that be careful what you wish for, because it's liable to come true. And we were wishing for light until we got temperatures of 110 from the sun. And we wished for water until we got floods. So be careful. There's not all black and not all white, or all good or all bad.
I see fellow members of the New York Society.
Yeah. I'd like to call on Tova as our last comment for now before we go back to our main. Tova, welcome.
I was just saying in the breakout rooms that in some ways I think light and dark might be more of a continuum, like the yin yang symbol. You know, in the yin yang symbol, you have a spot of dark in the light, and then a spot of light in the dark, and they keep going back and forth, back and forth. So I think there's maybe no real distinction between light and dark.
Thank you, Tova. Good to see you. The next series of presenters share more creative presentations on light and dark. Wonder and creativity can help us access new approaches to human flourishing. We're going to start with part of a classroom lesson from Mid Rivers, where children energetically brainstorm about light. And then we're going to shift abruptly to a serene poem about the painter Monet framing his loss of sight as a positive. We'll share some other poems written by members and even explore dance as a doorway into new paradigms. And I want you to know that the dancer you'll see is Jody Sperling, who's with us today, artist in residence at the New York Society for Ethical Culture. What a great time to have an artist. We need art more in our movement. You can see the chat for links for more information about Jody's work during the middle of her video. But I want to thank Jody and Murphy Leash and Gavin and Avon at Mid Rivers, and Chicago's Ken Novak, Essex's Daniela Giuseppe, a widely published poet, Elaine Durbach from Essex, and Austin's Rick Schaefer. So go ahead, we'll start with the children.
So what is light and dark in your culture?
Stuff.
What does that mean?
That means you're there sunshine.
The warm inside.
Mommy.
Besides Mommy. I was gonna say, let's say something else. The only thing that brings us light is our mothers.
Yes.
It's light in here. Why? What are some of the sources of light in this room?
Okay.
The
peacemaking all light.
We have fluorescent lighting.
Actually, people find ways to make light. They burn wood, wax, or oil. Wax, wax. This is wax. Yeah.
Light can
Make people day better. That means you light up the day for
How do you light up a day?
by giving up a good day. It helps grow stuff. A cloudy night, no moon, or stars. The sky is so dark, then a firefly. Blink, blink.
Flame itself is creating light. Are you trying to blow up my light?
One of them.
No. I need that light because it's what makes me happy.
Oh!
Monet Refuses the Operation by Liesl Miller. Doctor, you say there are no halos around the streetlights in Paris, and what I see is an aberration caused by old age and affliction. I tell you, it has taken me all my life to arrive at the vision of gas lamps as angels, to soften and blur and finally banish the edges you regret I don't see, to learn that the line I call the horizon does not exist, and sky and water so long apart are the same state of being. 54 years before I could see, Rouen Cathedral is built of parallel shafts of sun, and now you want to restore my youthful errors, fixed notions of top and bottom, the illusion of three-dimensional space, wisteria separate from the bridge it covers. What can I say to convince you that the Houses of Parliament dissolve night after night to become the fluid dream of the Thames? I will not return to a universe of objects that don't know each other, as if islands were not the lost children of one great continent. The world is flux, and light becomes what it touches, becomes water, lilies on water, above and below water, becomes lilac and mauve and yellow and white and cerulean lamps. Small fists passing sunlight so quickly to one another, it would take long streaming hair inside my brush to catch it, to paint the speed of light. Our weighted shapes, these verticals, burn to mix with air and change our bones, skin, clothes to gases. Doctor, if only you could see how heaven pulls earth into its arms and how infinitely the heart expands to claim this world, blue vapor without end.
My name is Daniela Gioseffi, and I'm reading a poem called I Hope the Earth Will Remember Me, from my book, Waging Beauty as the Polar Bear Dreams of Ice. I hope the earth will remember me, that ashes of my spirit, my words, my love will live in new life, fertilized by me. I hope I'll nurture the roots of a tree, feeling singing birds on its branches. I'd love to be heard in the song of a river as it flows through green mossy forests. I'm glad all the water I drank will be recycled for flowers to drink in new gardens I'll never see, except in my dream of coming spring. Snow falls in my sleep now, as I long for cricket sounds, night's comforting music. I hope my aging, calcified bones will nurture strength in children to be. I long for an earth of tomorrows, where new beings might recall the good things we're made of, born of, exploding stars, in the mysterious life of sorrow, beauty, longing, and love.
Sunlight through tree leaves saves lives in subtle ways.
Peace for Northern Sky is an evocation of an aurora.
In this dance, I spin continuously for 5 minutes. I wear an enormous silk costume, inspired by the style of modern dance pioneer Loie Fuller, which expands my reach and abstracts my human movement into celestial motion. The music, for vibraphone, is composed of Fibonacci sequence rhythms that create a spiraling soundscape for my swirl. After spinning for a while, you start to feel that you are still and the world is spinning around you. Though we may feel at rest on this earth, we are actually orbiting the sun and hurtling through the Milky Way. Ultimately, I practice this piece as a whirling meditation to help me lose myself into the larger pattern of the universe.
This is Rick Shaper from the Long Island Society, closing in on our 75th anniversary. This poem arose in me when my wife was descending into Alzheimer's dementia and before she passed. It represents my search for some brightness apart from the melancholy I felt. I needed to accept the darkness, but also to continue to live my life to its possibilities. Dark to light. I've seen darkness sparkle bright. From the depths of despair, light. Feelings and images that appear rise from the abyss of the tear. The past never leaves us alone. It visits and exits on its own, to and from a world out of reach, where it resides in comfort and peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. Thank you to everybody, all the presenters and musicians. Thanks to Dror and the All Society platform team, and to the AEU and to all who help ethical culture flourish. My heart is fuller today because of all your contributions. Before we move to our closing song, please consider typing into the chat, but don't hit send. Type into the chat one takeaway, something that you took from this that gave you joy, for example. Wait till I tell you to hit send before our final song. And then, as Philadelphia's Robert Edwin sings This Little Light of Mine, you can hit send and you'll see a cascade of chat entries that people are sharing about what they took from today. And then after that, please feel free to use the chat to comment and connect with others. And as soon as Robert starts singing, hit chat or hit the contribution for your chat. What did you get from today that gave you joy?
We have 90-second stories. How about a 90-second song? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Come on, let it shine.
Thanks to Robert. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for being here today. Please contribute to the American Ethical Union via the link that'll be in your chat, and you'll see it on screen in a second. Your generous contribution will help the AEU continue to offer you all society programs and will continue to be the institution through which we can explore more of our ethical culture tradition. Whatever path our future leads, may we continue to draw from our roots and from the light that we're given and the mystery of darkness. They all can be resources for us to flourish. I want to remind you that if you want more Kwanzaa celebration, you can watch the Brooklyn Society program today starting at 12:30. The link hopefully will be in the chat. We're going to be moving in a moment to our informal, larger breakout room where you can share whatever you'd like with other ethical culturists from around the country for about half an hour, and you can leave when you want because we're wrapping up our formal program. Feel free to discuss anything you want in those breakout rooms. It's more of a social time. But if you want, share more about what you draw from darkness and light so that your life is richer and might help you face 2025 with renewed hope, energy, and persistence. We're going to need those qualities in our life more than ever in this coming year. So thanks for being here today.